This man is Xander. It was only because his wife talked so much that he decided to leave the house. I heard that the Amazon has many dangerous animals to prove themselves. So Xander decided to stay here for 5 days and relax his mind. He's in a dinghy to the start of the challenge. Xander was excited to watch the boat leave, because he was truly free. Before entering a life of survival, he just brought a few simple tools, like a fishing kit, a flint stick, a metal vase to hold water, dirty water cleaning solution, a homemade name frame. It's just a video camera and a plastic knife. Despite having a rich survival experience, but want to survive in the Amazon rainforest, it's not easy. The weather here is changing faster than your girlfriend's condition. Not only that, there are countless crocodiles here. Not to mention being touched by a killer spider is going to heaven immediately. But that's nothing compared to Xander. He suffered a lot of damage from his girlfriend, so I decided I'd rather die. He also wouldn't go home. So Xander goes deep into the jungle. Due to the hot weather, Xander drink a sip of running out of water. Fortunately, there is no shortage of water in the Amazon. I took a bottle full of water, then pour the dirty water filter solution into the jar, so there's water in reserve. When thirsty, you can drink at any time. Next, he continued deep into the cold Amazon forest. Xander soon found a shaded area. There's a river nearby, so the water has been settled. Xander decided to set up camp here, thanks to its mighty power. He brandished his knife hard at the nearby trees. The trees cry for help in the middle of the forest, while you're working hard, in anticipation of a rain coming, but with someone as powerful as Xander. This is no surprise. I kept pouring rain to cut down the tree. If you cut a bunch, the sun will come back. He opened his shirt to reveal the body that his wife at home was craving. Because I don't want to lose a lot of energy, so you just cut down the immature saplings. Under skillful hands, a simple shaped frame that's definitely finished. I didn't even forget to test its durability. But I'm not going to build in a shaped tent, but a rectangle. So it needs to be reinforced. It was too bad to finish the camp. Then I hear thunder in the distance. However, not long after that, God probably saw him working so hard that he shed tears for the second time. I didn't want to get cold. Xander had to put it back on. Standing in the middle of the heavy rain, Xander smiled innocently and happily. Because I know it's raining like this, my girlfriend won't come looking for me. But you can't be late, you have to get it done as soon as possible. If it doesn't rain like this, you won't see the sun the next day. You build in the rain. The roof was quickly built. Now you just need to cover it with leaves so you can cover the sun and cover the rain without worrying about getting wet. When it's done, it's sunny again. I brought a cup of coffee from home and enjoy it. Look at where you still seem a little sketchy, but it's okay. It's better than nothing. The accommodation issue has been resolved. There's just a lack of food now. I went around to see how many resources I could eat. He soon discovered that the palm tree was over 12 feet tall. The old tree loves, but the young tree does not. I went to a nearby sapling and cut it off a few times to make the palm tree fall off its stem. You take the top and you split it in half. Edible inner core rich in fiber and energy. After eating and drinking, you continue to venture into the dense forest, where there's a treasure trove of palm leaves waiting. Immediately enlist a lot of fresh palm leaves. The work is hard and tired, about to faint, but it's as light as a pink feather to me as a walk in the park. Don't let time go by in vain. He immediately covered leaves on the homemade roof like a real artisan. It's surrounded by palm trees. It's like the forest is programmed for you to build a house. As he walked along, he found a pile of fallen palm trees rolling on the ground. Unfortunately, I can't eat it, but it's also fun to look at. Even so, these palm trees are old and their bodies are as long as sautéed trees. It's perfect for you to use shelter reinforcement. And just like that, you harvest these giant palm leaves and happily take it back to his shelter. You can see that these palm leaves are very long, and it's fine to cover the sun and the rain. First, he put a thin layer of foil on top of it, and then he added another layer of palm leaves, like he's making a 1,000-layer cake. It's estimated to take 10 minutes. But who would have expected this great work to be so fascinating? Next, he started to build the bed, a project that requires both engineering and aesthetics. So he puts up two wooden piles and uses the north-facing floor as a miniature stilt house, and then used the palm tree trunk to cover it up. Very quickly, there was a bed as soft as a cloud. Put your back to sleep. Now the shelter is complete. It doesn't matter if you just reinforce the opening so that it rains all of a sudden. And then there's the bonfire, which is an integral part of surviving the forest man type. He went around looking for dry branches very quickly and found a precious yellow dry wood in the middle of the musty forest. But it's just finished raining. The wood has to be used. Then he cut another tree, a palm tree as big as Wukon's wool, and he took it back to camp, but he just took the top, the quintessential part, and brought it back as a food reserve. I've seen the survival strategy. Palm trees are super rich in carbohydrates, which help recharge energy. However, instead of cutting it down immediately, he left the whole tree so that it could be preserved whenever he was hungry. And now it's time for a real fire. Everything around is 100% wet, but luckily he found a dry twig inside the rotting tree ready to glow. I cut it carefully, picking up a piece of dry wood as if cutting a billion-dollar root. Then we're on our way to find the ingredients. Suddenly I discovered a huge vines. It's like a natural water pipe. It's filled with fresh water. You just need to cut off the heads and you can drink it right away. More convenient than water filter, and I didn't hesitate to take a big sip like I'd never had before. And don't forget to chop a big piece to bring back to the reserve. Living like a vacation is like that. On the way back to my beloved base, I suddenly heard the thunder rumbling like a drum. It signals that a heavy rain is about to fall. It was dark like a horror movie. And Xander's still struggling to light a fire. It's cold and the fire doesn't burn. It seems like tonight he's curled up in a wet nest again. I can't breathe out the warmth. Then another rain suddenly fell. As a challenge to the resilience of the survivor, the roof of the house is elaborate. He also started to rebel. The roof begins to leak unwanted water. Xander is as helpless as fixing his phone in a storm. I can't believe that today God will send 3 terrible torrential rains. To avoid turning into ice cream sticks in the middle of the forest, he hurriedly started a fire like he was competing in the Olympic survival competition. Fortunately, the pieces of dry wood and sawdust that he had thoroughly shaved and exposed in the morning were now as dry as a snack. Just swipe one with flint and it's there. The spark of hope is burning, is the premise of the warm evening ahead. I thought it was a successful fire. I can't believe the fire just lit up a little and then it was blown out. So I shaved a new one and continued to grind flint as if practicing martial arts. Insects are countless at night. I'm lying in a shelter that I can't sleep in. Maybe I'll stay awake tonight like a project student. If you can rest a little, you start a fire. This time choose the right dried brush to scrape sawdust. And oh my god, fire has burned brightly. I thought it didn't work. But oh fire, you make me helpless. Get some medical cotton as a last resort. And so the yellow flame lit up. There was a fire, and Xander rolled out beside the fire, like a warrior who just escaped. Enjoy the warm feeling of having a heater. Getting through tonight is like living again. The next morning, I woke up with a lack of sleep. I slept for a few minutes last night, but still very pleased to have successfully ignited the fire. So today I decided to reward myself. So the first overnight challenge was successfully completed. He opened the lid and drank a can of water as if to purify his body, and run to the river to get more water. Remember the food reserves. It's the palm tree that's been growing since yesterday. I brought it out for breakfast today. Cut down the tree. No need for fussy processing. He devoured in the shelter. Not as good as a hot dog. If you are hungry, everything is delicious. Then he pulled out the coffee bag. Just a hot glass. Hugging each sip while the forest went. It hasn't been long since we've been surrounded by poisonous spiders. It's true that Amazon doesn't lack the element of surprise. So I spent 5 precious minutes to clean up the surrounding vegetation. While cleaning, he happened to pick up some wild berries under the corner of the tree. With the experience of living like an Indian, I'm sure there's a lot of protein in the grain. Without hesitation, he took some seeds and chopped them up with a knife. And as predicted, inside are these fat larvae. Not in time to be happy. I put it in my mouth, and it tastes like butter. It's a specialty of the forest. Behind the scenes devouring raw. So he decided to keep collecting wild berries for the worms as bait. If you want to fish, you have to fish. I'm looking for a plant that's very flexible, very malleable. Recognize this plant by its characteristic lemon-like aroma. I cut each leaf like an expert. However, the hearing is not yet superior. I can't find it forever. I was almost given a ticket home by a spider. Knowing the danger, he decided to change the location. Fortunately, this time, we found a long straight branch of a fishing rod. Cut down the tree and bring it to the camp on the fire for toughness, and then tie a fishing line from home, and you're done with a fishing pole. Without hesitation, he took yesterday's wild fruit and pulled out the fat worms as bait. Then go to the river and turn on professional fishing. Ready to hunt monsters? It seems that these worms are not only used for phobias, they're also super useful bait. In just a few minutes, I caught a small fish. It's not an ocean shark, but at least there's something to put in your teeth. This fish must weigh a few pounds. Eat for fun. Not enough dessert, so I decided to change the strategy of quantity compensation. So keep dropping. And just like the old script, there's another fish that's biting. So he dance like a dancer. Let me play him music. And a total of 11 fish. Enough to have a mini BBQ party in the forest. The food is enough. I returned to the camp feeling like I had won the lottery. Don't forget to collect some dry wood for the barbecue. Handy pick a little more palm to supplement fiber. After a 2-hour nap. Still dreaming about the grilled fish in a dream and the attractive foo in the city. But the reality is much worse. The ground is full of insects. The ants are as big as fingers. He jumped up like a spring and ran to check the spoils of the fish he had just caught. And of course, the ass threw a spectacular buffet on the fruits of his sweat and tears. So angry he came up with a big fish plan to swallow the little fish, using the small fish themselves as bait for bigger fish. That's too smart. He took out the steel coil, as fast as lightning bending into a super good hook. I'm going to make for fish traps and set them up. In the hope of harvesting a whole flock of fatty fish in the morning. There's no shortage of bait, but small fish that have just been tasted by ants. It's getting dark and I realize there's nothing I can do all day. So hurry up and collect wood and set a fish trap. He said he'd run back into the forest and collect all kinds of dry twigs as fuel for the fire. This place has abundant resources, you just have to work hard. Looking back at the shelter roof, he noticed that the leaves were starting to dry out, so he decided to reinforce them in case the rain was blowing, with some powerful knife blows. 1,000-year-old palm tree must fall. Next, he cut down the second tree, but only the tip, because it's edible. The leaves are used to strengthen the roof. When he got to the camp, he immediately set up a new layer of leaves to upgrade the roof system. I was working hard when I noticed the fire was almost out. He used his best breath to save the fire. Fortunately, there is still coal to help the fire burn brightly. I even made a bow rack in my bedroom. I suddenly realized that I hadn't showered in 2 days and my body started to smell bad. He immediately went to the river, stirred the water to soak and enjoy the cool, refreshing feeling as if revived. After a clean shower, he returned to the camp. It was dark. Hurriedly set fish traps along the river. I quietly hope I wake up tomorrow morning with a barbecue. On the way back I picked up more wood. Tonight's dinner is just palm oil. An indispensable item on your survival menu. I lie in my shelter by the pink fire, trying to sleep through the cold night. The next morning, I woke up and the fire was almost over. I was in a hurry to blow out a birthday candle and run to the river to draw water to boil before drinking. As of now, it's been 48 hours since you set foot in this dense Amazon. What you can need is just 3 little grasses. Go to the river to check for fish traps. The first one was empty-handed and disappointed me. To the second trap, still nothing. All you have to do is put your faith in the rest of the traps and pray that something unexpected happens. And the fourth trap is no different than the previous 3. It's as empty as your stomach this morning and at the end of the month. Back to camp in a mood of 7. Gasoline muttered blame fate. But he's determined to complete the rest of his days in this ordeal even without meat. And you're gnawing at the palm trees again. You eat so much that you just hear the word palm. The fire in the camp accidentally dried the roof's foliage. The official leak-proof system was in danger. I don't know how the next few days will turn out. I went out into the dust and found wild berries that contained these greasy worms. And then continued to take them out as bait. Very quickly a fish bite. But it's still a microscopic fish. The fish here seem to be programmed to be uniform in size, as if it's for you. These fish don't eat very well, so I'm going back to my old strategy. Using small fish as bait for larger fish. Back to camp, his eyes looked at the bow, still had no chance to go to war. So today you're holding a bow and arrow, like a prehistoric warrior. Quietly peeking around with hawkish eyes. I hope to find something with meat. But it's so desolate that there's no one around. There's no sign of any animals living around here. Not to lose. I went back to fishing. Take the fishing pole to a familiar place. I caught a 50-gram fish in less than a few minutes. I found a fallen tree nearby like a lucky bridge. So I climbed out into the middle of the river, using the fish as bait. And just as the dream came true, I saw the fish fluttering. You pull it up, oh my god. It's a fish 10 times bigger than the kids from the day before. Xander was so happy that tears fell from the corners of her mouth because she laughed so much. Without hesitation, he hurried the booty back to the camp. Organ cleaning. And then you're going to skewer the fish and bake it. Just wait for the fish to cook. Just grill and take advantage of the river to cool down. When I returned to the fish farm, it was ripe and fragrant. The smell spreads and makes the stomach rumble endlessly. But life is not quiet. The other end of the fishing line fluttered. You're like a shot. And suddenly left one more big fish unhooked. This time bigger than the first. It's not a waste of trying. There's no need to eat palm now. Today I'm officially eating piranha. Teeth as sharp as razors. It's a little dangerous, but it smells good when you roast it. Fatty fish meat with less bone. One bite is to forget the world. But I won't stop. The second fish was also processed. Set up a barbecue rack, scrape, process the organs and get the meat. Then it's on the grill. While baking, he took a dip in the river. And then go to a nearby tree and put more fish traps. Back to the fragrant fish farm. I've had the best dinner since I walked into this forest. That insects are also attracted to. Be an uninvited guest. After a full meal, he lay by the fire enjoying a warm sleep. The next morning, I woke up and the fire was almost out. He went back to the river and boiled water to filter out the bacteria before checking the fish traps. Unfortunately, this time there was nothing to be gained except the weeds. Back to camp, he sipped some cool boiling water. Then think of lunch with nothing to eat. So he took the fishing line out to the river and laid it. And then he went back into the forest. He continued to smell to the heart of the tree. After a while he found the tree had forgotten this smell. This time, instead of making a stick, I decided to make a spring trap. Scraping bark as rope. And it took me all morning to make the fishing trap. He took the trap to the river and set it back. Accidentally caught a stray crab. There's something new. While waiting for the trap to work, I went back to camp for a nap. When I wake up from sleep, I check in. When I got there, I saw the fish I had just caught. Set the trap again and cut down to palm trees. Continue to chew to relieve hunger. Eat to the heart of the palm core. Even if you are tired, you still have to eat. After eating, I went back to the river to fish. I hope luck will come. But I'm lucky to be on vacation today. They keep changing places without seeing any. After a long day is still nothing but loss. It's also dark. I went back to running on a hungry stomach. Undeterred, Xander came up with the idea of building a super weapon. tie the rope to the arrow to shoot the fish without fear of losing the arrow. But today is like a party at the festival. They're flying around in their faces, even in your mouth. Makes you cough like you've just drunk the wrong salt water. However, his belly called out to him despite the light, carrying the boat to the river to hunt night fish like a ninja of darkness. The blink of an eye hit a fish. It's as small as a toothpick, but at least it's a gnaw. Caught another crab nearby. It's also a hearty snack. But Xander's the kind of guy who chases big fish. Never accept these small goals. So you're using small fish as bait for big fish. Continue meal promotion plan. While waiting for the big fish to catch, he soaked in the river to cool down. While anxiously waiting, I went back to camp and suddenly I missed my wife. I hope to go home later. Your wife will talk less about your life. Later he went out to check the fish trap and pulled up a big one. I had to rub my eyes a few times because I thought I was dreaming. I was lucky this time too much. Like picking up gold in the forest. But there's a constant danger underground, full of poisonous insects, and you're barefoot like a native. Every step is threatened. I still carry the fish back to camp. Make the familiar barbecue stand now. You remove the bone. Just take the meat skewers and put them on the stove. A few minutes later, the smell of grilled fish came up. It smells like happiness all over the camp. I took a bite. Fish in the mouth. It's so delicious that you can live your whole life in the forest if you eat it like this every day. I have to say, this fish meal is better than the fancy restaurants on the street. When he was full, he lay by the fire and slept until the morning. And then the day comes. I ate what was left of last night's fish and cleaned up. He did not forget to put out the fire and dismantle the shelter that he once called the villa. When the boat came, he knew that the ordeal was over. And I'll see you on the next survival trip.